Hey there, so today we have another beer talk. Not even beer talk, sorry, it's a food talk. And this is about really, like I did the beer talk already, but this is more important than that, honestly. I had such a great food experience in New York City. And obviously, my entire life I lived in New York City, or New York. And last 5 years I moved down to Orlando. And I'm really spoiled because there's great food in Orlando. But New York City just takes it to a next level. This is not in a great order, but it sort of shows you like some of the order that can go with. And let's start off. So first off, I will say, if you go to New York, grab someone with you. There's so much good food out there that it's hard to like sort of eat so much. Like I did it by myself, and it was a freaking headache and very painful, but I had to do it. I was only there for 5 days and had some great meals. But if you have friends or other people, bring them along, share some bites. Absolutely amazing. Number one goes to Los Tacos No.1. So that's probably the most famous taco place in all of New York City. They have like 5, 6 locations now. And so they're known for al pastor, which is like, the pork shaved and the pineapple. And I've loved that one. But I will say, the day I went, the chicken was on point. Juicy, grilled, charred to a beautiful amount. And then steak was nice and juicy. The al pastor was actually a little bit salty, a little bit out of balance that day. So the chicken and the steak was better than their most famous al pastor. That's how amazing their food is. The fresh tortillas are just, pressed right there, thrown on the grill. I have some great Mexican food down here, but it's not even close. It's just that's incredible. Number two goes to very fresh Noodles, also in Chelsea Market. So one of the most famous chains in New York City for Chinese food is actually Xi'an Foods. They have like a dozen locations now. Hand pull noodles, pop, 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 pop. They smack it on the table like fresh pasta, and then they throw it with some chili oil, some lamb, and some vegetables. But this one just tastes a little bit better, a little less greasy. And then the other thing is that there's a huge display, about 100 bottles of this stuff that is from my upbringing, which I love. It's Chinese black vinegar. If you don't know, it's like sort of a less sour balsamic vinegar, and it is the only condiment for dumplings. People go to Chinese places, they get this like sweet soy sauce thing that's just gross. You get that at Japanese restaurants too. The only proper way to do it is this really sour-ish kind of black vinegar, and that you actually get that taste in their hand-pulled cumin lamb noodles. It just took Xi'an to another level, in my opinion. So love very fresh noodles. Number three, Kossars. I literally brought some back. So this is how big this freaking thing is. Like my hand. Like that's how freaking huge these are. I got half dozen plus a couple Bialys. Kossars is actually known for the Bialys, which is like a half bagel variant of a bagel. It's interesting. It's very different, but it's sort of like a Bialy, sort of like a bagel, but anyways, thinner, lighter. It's a little bit different. Anyway. They're so big that I got half a dozen plus a couple of Bialys, and I couldn't even fit them in my luggage. Because think about it, times this by like, you're talking about like that much volume right there. They're so big, but it's not only just Kossars. You can go to some other places, and I didn't go to any other places. But the bagels in New York are just special. They're different. They make some great bagels in Orlando, but they just don't come close to New York bagels. So just having a great New York bagel just like is crushing it. And the thing is, I didn't eat a New York bagel yet, or in New York City. Like I literally brought them home, froze them, and then heat them up, and they're just so freaking good. So just make sure you freeze them, and blah blah. I'll probably do a review for you guys. Going on. Best pizza. Frank Pinello does a YouTube pizza show. The pepperoni slices are pretty good, but you got to get the grandma. The grandma's incredible. We understand how the grandmas, they double ferment the dough, so you get really taste nice fluffy dough, beautiful fermentation flavor, and they just got these giant chunks of tomato on there. Cheese was fantastic. I didn't eat that much pizza. I don't really eat much pizza in New York City, but that's one of the best slices I've had. Number five, we go to Faicco's. So Faicco's on Bleecker Street, right by Blind Tiger, right by John's Bleecker, and it is just, it's almost like it was in Little Italy, but it's just an Italian deli. I got a ginormous sandwich, like literally half the sandwich, probably bigger than this. That's half. So you think about it, double. And medium-sized roll. I believe there's 3 full chicken cutlets on there. Tons of fresh mozzarella, pesto sauce, and like it was $20 sandwich, and people are like, "Oh, $20, I can't do that." the full meal is $10 right there. You go to McDonald's right now, you're paying over $10 for a meal. So don't start with me. That sandwich is absolutely world class. Faicco's. I'm so sorry it took me 35 years to finally get there. So if I go back, going to Faicco's. Obviously some great delis in New York City, but for an Italian style sandwich, next time I get the Italian, I got the chicken cutlet this time. Hamburger America, oh my God. So if you guys don't know, George Most is the preeminent person to talk about burgers. He has literally a documentary on burgers. He has a YouTube show about burgers. He's been on Jimmy Kimmel talking about burgers. The big thing he's known for, Oklahoma style burger. Love the space he built, sort of like old school diner kind of, those circle, bar stools, and you get to see the burgers made there. Not the best smash burger I've ever had, but very simple, and those onions for the Oklahoma style burger, which is incredible. It literally tasted like French onion soup on your burger. Just loved the experience. He was hanging out there too, and I actually saw Nick Solaris of the Meat Show. If you guys are OG YouTube foodie people, love that experience. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. I picked number 7 to be Finback LIC, which is a brewery, but they have a Chinese menu on there, which is weird. And they have fresh wontons, you get noodles, blah, blah. But this is one dish that makes no sense that anybody would throw on a menu. And I don't even know, I literally should have, Zach, who works there, who's actually a viewer of the channel, I probably should have asked him. This is a beautiful dish, and it's wood ear with dried bean curd skin. Very spicy. Cilantro, chili oil, sesame seeds, and I don't no offense to you guys, but unless you're Chinese, you have no clue what I'm talking about. And obviously I'm a little bit biased because I grew up with a Chinese upbringing, so it's maybe the reverse of the reverse. But I grew up hating Chinese food because that's all I ate, and then obviously learned to cook and did all the Western cooking, all that stuff. But having that dish again, I'm like, whoa, so good. So if you guys don't know, wood ear is like a crunchy, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like a crunchy mushroom. It is a fungus, but it's a crunchy mushroom with this dried bean curd skin, which is you guys had tofu before, but it's almost like an imitation meat kind of thing. It's actually one of the closest things I've had to imitation meat that's actually natural, like some bean curd. And it's spicy and cilantro. Man, that is such a fire dish. It was only $8 for a nice bowl of it. Man, my mouth's watering thinking about it right now. And it's such a specific dish that really elevates Chinese cooking to a whole nother level. That's traditionally Chinese versus Chinese takeout nonsense. And I love that stuff too. But wow, what a dish! And that's one of my top dishes. Loved it. Where to go to? Aces. So Aces is in Williamsburg. It's a pizza bar, but it looks like an old-fashioned kind of dive bar, but they make really good Detroit-style pizza, and it's so fluffy that it's not that heavy, and you can eat it, and it's so enjoyable. Lovely space, great toppings. We had a mushroom one, a sweet chili one, and then the pepperoni one. Just fluffy, beautiful pizza. And you pin your whole Detroit to maybe not making the best pizza, but honestly, that's some of the best pizza in New York, in my opinion. So, Aces. Boom. So Lilia is a famous Italian restaurant in Williamsburg, but they have a deli bakery thing next door where you get coffee and nonsense. But I had a turkey porchetta sandwich. It's salty turkey, all right? It's a salty turkey sandwich with sourdough baguette, but it's pretty fire. Nothing like Faicco's. It was that's a one meal sandwich for $16, but you're paying for a fancy Italian, very expensive Italian restaurant with a cafe attached, and that's what you're paying for the sandwich. Cool. But very good, very good. So a little bit pricey, but very good. We'll go with that. Next one, we have Second Avenue Deli. So I did a video for you guys already about that. Fantastic food. Just it's very awesome to get delicious pastrami, but unless you get cactus, I guess I was disappointed. Who knows? It was very good. Whatever. 11, Sal, Kris, and Charlie's. So I didn't actually go. I've been to Sal, Kris, and Charlie's. They're a stalwart, kind of famous deli in Astoria. Their sandwich is known for just being ginormous. I got it. 3 years ago when I was in New York. It's so big, and it used to cost $8, and then it went up to $10. Now that massive sandwich is $17, and arguably, it's maybe not worth it. Like you'd rather probably pay the premium of that price and get a better quality sandwich. It's very, very good. Like I'm not saying the quality of itself is not good, but absolutely fantastic. I will say the place where I tried it was actually Finback LIC. Uh, the Vice apparently came in and bought out, or not bought out the restaurant, but like bought out the brewery, but like had a party there, and they literally left. I don't want it. Like the food saver person in me is so angry. They literally left probably like $300+ worth of like proper New York delicatessen food just sitting there, just like sandwiches on sandwiches and salad, potato salad, coleslaw. Just left it all out there, just sitting there for no reason. And I went up to the bartender. I was like, what is this stuff sitting there? Like, well, they left it here like a couple hours ago. I was like, are you kidding me? So I ate it. It was freaking tastic. Shout out to Vice, and shout out to Zach at Finback for letting me have it. But like, it was a very good sandwich. But at that price, like I remember going when it was like $10 or less. At $17, you probably can find a higher, fancy quality kind of Italian sandwich. Whatever, very good. Whatever. Oof, people can hate this one. Win Sun is a very hype, cool, hip, kind of Chinese, Taiwanese joint in Williamsburg. And that's probably like my bottom. Yeah, that's probably my bottom. And it's crazy because like, as a Chinese American, it's always crazy to think that like, again, you compare menus. Like, I want a fried rice dish. Chinese food, Thai food, Japanese food. It's like fried rice, eggs, some vegetables, or protein maybe. And you see these tiers and prices, and you're like, wait, why is the Chinese so cheap? Which is probably a good thing. But you literally can elevate price just based on like what cuisine you are. And Chinese are just, like, man, you go to Chinatown, like, New York has gotten so expensive. Like, there's basically few things you can swear on price with. And it's probably like a New York City slice, which probably stay a little somewhat competitive despite it going up. But like the Chinatown Flushing prices are just like nuts. Like the prices, you just feel like inflation and stuff just doesn't affect. Like the prices are still so insane. So I'm just used to. I think most people are used to Chinese food being cheap, and then now you get places like Win Sun and Bonnie's, and they've elevated to this to like a real price. Like, whoa, like my friend let me stay at his place. So I was like, all right, I'll buy dinner for you guys, him and his wife and myself. No drinks, $120 a head. Or not a head, sorry. $120 total, $40 a head for Chinese food. And it wasn't that much food. Like, it was not. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, there's a dish on there, like it was like chicken wontons, $23. I'm pretty sure we only got, like, 4 or 5 wontons. We're talking about, like, $5. $5 a wonton. Right? Like, it's gotten insane. Like, wow. Like, and the food was great. Food was great. But like, I think sometimes, like, I mean, obviously we would have to go all the way to Chinatown or Flushing or something. Sure, fine. But there's great food out there. And just because you're in the hip part of Williamsburg and it's a little bit different, you don't get the vibe. But was it that different? No, those dishes were very familiar dishes in my mind. Like, they didn't take Chinese dishes, traditional Chinese dishes, and flip them to a whole different world where I'm like, oh, wow. They were just very well executed Chinese dishes. But man, $40 a head, like we're talking about, like, like $30 plates of, like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's not that the food is bad, but it's just crazy to see, like, things have got gentrified to a place where, like, and I'm glad that, like, Chinese food can do that. And there is very fine places to do, this is a whole other video talk about what you can do with Chinese food and pricing, all this stuff. But I was just slightly disappointed. I was like, this was good. It was very good. But like very fresh noodle dish that I paid for, I think it was like $16. It was a ginormous. And if Win Sun charged, I actually had they had a different noodle dish. I think that probably went for $28 or something. Oh, so maybe not too crazy, because now you're sitting down in a restaurant versus like a food stall in Chelsea Market. Then again, that's also very expensive. I don't know. Like, it's almost double probably, or 1.5 times the cost. And And those noodles. Oh wait, sorry. I'm gonna take it back. Those noodles weren't even that good. They were not even cooked that well. They were a little bit overcooked at Winsun versus like the fresh noodles at very fresh noodles. I don't know. Whole different conversation. It sucks that Winsun has to be the bottom despite being a Chinese American, but the prices are just nuts. And then I will say honorable mention to I'll call them out. It's called BrookLAN. It's like literally a few stops or a few like storefronts away from KCBC. And I just wanted a quick bite. Like, it was the middle of the day and I've been doing flights and visiting breweries all day. So, like, you got to eat somewhere, right? And it was raining hard. So I was like, oh, whatever, just give me it. It's pretty cool. It's like, it's actually nice that Bushwick has it. It's like an internet cafe in middle Bushwick, which crazy. Like, internet cafes don't exist anymore. I remember as a kid, that used to be a thing because you had to have an internet cafe. But now it's a cool place. Like, people are playing Magic the Gathering and playing Uno and do this all the cool stuff. And I said, sat at the bar. I got sold burnt tenders and asked them if it's supposed to be burnt. And they're like, yeah, that's how it looks. And I wasted $18 on burnt chicken tenders and fries and got terrible service, so that doesn't really count, but shout out to them. So long video, I'm sorry, but this food was absolutely amazing. You got to check out the pictures, post in the comments below. You sure obviously have more recommendations for me, but that was such an amazing food trip. Like I literally cannot remember the last time I ate so much good food in such a short amount of time. New York City is amazing. Just take a flight out there. I need to go back. The food's so good. It's so good. And the beer was great, but like, I can get some great beer down here, and a lot of the New York beer gets sent down here. Like the beer is fine, but the food is just next level. Oh my God. Until next time, cheers later.